Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. We mentioned last week in this next class, which is talking about diseases of the heart, or bad characteristic traits, or we can say to have noble qualities. We talked last week about jealousy or envy, which was hasad. Today we're going to talk about bukhul. Bukhul in the Arabic language means to be a miser, miserliness. To be a miser is someone who has a problem with spending money. Okay? And this person, being a miser is the opposite of being generous. Okay? So you can kind of figure out that context. Being a miser is the opposite of being generous. But being a miser is a disease of the heart and a very bad thing to have if it results in disobedience to Allah. So the first definition the scholars give is a person is bakhil or a miser who doesn't even pay his zakat when his zakat is due. Okay? So once a year, Muslims are obligated to give 2.5% of their wealth to the poor. The poor cannot be any poor, they are Muslim poor only for zakat. If they want to help a non-Muslim, it goes under the category of a different kind of charity called sadaqah. As for zakat, it is a specific responsibility to give it and make a Muslim who is poor possessor of your wealth of 2.5%. Okay? So a person who's a miser is a person who doesn't even want to pay that. He doesn't even want to give 2.5%. He's going to hoard and keep the zakat himself. If you do not pay your zakat once a year, that zakat will be heated up in the next world into like a brand of hot iron, and then it will be branded on the person as a punishment. This is a very, very terrible punishment for the person that doesn't give his zakat. And in the Quran, whenever it says establish prayer, aqim as-salat wa atu zakat, always. You'll see it often. Those who pray their prayer and pay zakat. But a person who's miser, you say, hey, you owe $200 in zakat, you got to give to the poor, and they're like, that's so much money, I'm going to lose $200, I don't want to give it. So they hold on to it. And they become sick. And in Arabic language, there's a correlation between not paying zakat and then getting really sick and not being healthy. So the only way your wealth becomes purified and you'll actually make more money and your business will grow, your life savings will grow and everything else is if you pay zakat. By holding on to zakat, it causes more problems. You see people that don't pay zakat, they're telling themselves, oh no, I don't want to spend my money, I want to keep my money, but in reality, they're going to lose money. You know why? Because by keeping zakat, they're going to get a type of punishment from Allah that will not make their business grow at all. You'll lose the blessings and barakah and your business will slacken until you probably might lose it all, God forbid. Okay? So, to be bakhil is to be a miser. And miserliness is such a bad character. Imagine you go out with a friend and your friend has like $100 of dollar bills, okay? And you need a cup of water. You're like, I'm so thirsty, I forgot my money. And the person is right next to you and they see a bottle of water. It says 50 cents. The person goes, yeah, too bad you forgot your money. And they have like $100 bills. Such a person in that position not to buy you a 50-cent glass of water is a miser, okay? Because that's very uncalled for, to be that miserly, okay? And any obligation that comes up that you should spend for the sake of Allah and you don't, and you have money, because if you don't have money, you're not considered a miser, okay? And there's a verse in the Quran that whoever is saved from the evil of their own self concerning bukhul, وَمَن يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ, whoever is saved from the greed of his own self. So to be a miser is a person who's very sick, and that greed will destroy them. How do you prevent yourself from being a miser? Well, here are the things you can do. Every month or at least once a year, you should give some money to the poor. Okay? Whether that's $5, whether that's $10, whether that's more. A month of Ramadan is a very good month in which whatever you give is multiplied by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you get a lot more rewards. Okay? You get a lot of reward for giving in the month of Ramadan. So feed one person some food. Give some money. If you ask yourself, well, did I give anything this year for the sake of Allah? Did I pay or help anyone with anything? And your answer is no. That's not a good sign for a Muslim, right? There should be some spending towards noble causes and noble things that Muslims need. In particular, there's people all over the Muslim world that are suffering really, really bad who don't even have water. And that's a really sad case. So we should try to help them out as much as we can. The next disease is arrogance or kibr. Arrogance is when you feel you are better than another human being. You are better than another Muslim with Allah. With Allah. If you think you're a better basketball player, a better tennis player, that's not necessarily arrogance. Arrogance is when you feel you are a better Muslim than another Muslim. Okay? So maybe one person wears hijab, another person doesn't wear hijab. The one who wears hijab says to themselves, I know I'm better than that other girl because she doesn't wear hijab. That's arrogance. Doesn't make you better than them. Especially with Allah. Because obviously hijab is wajib and fard, no doubt about that. But maybe the person who doesn't wear hijab might have in their heart true love for Allah and good qualities of the heart, and they just feel bad about not wearing hijab. And the one who wears hijab has anger, has jealousy, hates others, and thinks they're better than everyone. That's a lot worse. Do you see that? And that's something your eye cannot see. Your eye just sees one little thing. She doesn't cover her hair. You're like, oh, I'm better than that. That's terrible. A person that becomes a means of their arrogance. Or, let me give you another one. People that often go and pray in the masjid will feel they're better than people that don't pray in the masjid. Right? So I come for prayer every day. I'm so much better than those other guys that don't even pray in the masjid. That becomes arrogance. Okay? The companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they could have said, we were with the Messenger of Allah, we're better than anybody. They could have done that. None of them ever said anything like that. Okay? All of them always felt that they were the worst Muslim on earth. All of them thought, I am not a good, maybe I'll die in a bad way, maybe Allah's angry with me. All of them. So a Muslim who doesn't feel scared of Allah, and a person who doesn't feel like they are perhaps in a bad state with Allah, then that person is in a bad state with Allah. If you feel safe and you think you're just such a good person and you're not scared of the Day of Judgment, you got problems. That's not the way of the Muslim, how they think. Even if you wear hijab and pray 5 times a day and never miss your prayer, always give zakat, alhamdulillah, that's good. But that should never, ever be a means or a reason for you to be arrogant with others. Because what if Allah doesn't accept anything of what you do because what you did or what you do because of your arrogance? So we don't want to be like that. Sometimes arrogance can occur because you feel like you're from a better country, you're from a better skin color, you're from a better gender, you're from a taller height class, you have more money, you drive a better car. Whatever it is that makes you arrogant over another, that becomes a problem. Okay? Especially when it has to do with your religion, that you feel you're a better Muslim than another. The one who got in a lot of trouble for this is shaitan. And shaitan not only got jealousy as a first disease, but then shaitan had arrogance. Shaitan had arrogance. Shaitan thought he was better than Adam. And he said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you created me of fire and you created him of earth. I'm better than him. The reason why as Muslims we are taught not to be racist is because we believe all race and all color is created by Allah and not one is better than the other. But all of it is created for a wisdom from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so being arrogant, you think you're better than another because what country you're from, because what skin color you have, or your language, or your money, or your social status, or what you drive and all that, this is not a good thing to have, and it's a disease. It is said that arrogant people will be crushed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment. They're going to have a very bad punishment. Okay? Being arrogant is one of the worst things anybody could ever do. How do you treat arrogance? What if you are arrogant? How do you deal with it? One of the ways you deal with it is you think about the punishment promised for those who are arrogant. That Allah will not put them in paradise on the Day of Judgment. Arrogant people will be punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in one hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that whoever has one atom's weight, one iota of arrogance in their heart will be expelled from paradise. مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ مِنَ الْكِبْرِ. Whoever has 1 ounce iota of arrogance in their heart will not enter paradise. And how often do we hear young people criticize another person, talk about how they're better than them? That guy, he goes out. That guy, he goes out. He does this thing bad. That girl, they do this. And they just assume they're so much better than them. And this is a big problem. And this is arrogance. And people who pray all month in the month of Ramadan, and then towards the end of the month, they see somebody who just came in that first night to the masjid. They're like, oh, I'm so much better than, where were you all month? Maybe they were working. Maybe they were busy. Maybe they had family. Maybe they had a relative sick. They took care of them. This is a very, very bad attitude I often experience in my life with a lot of people. To a point where you wonder, what is the point of worship in the masjid or going out and praying Ramadan and fasting when all it does is lead you to arrogance? There's no good in that. Because I guarantee you, the Muslim who walks in a mosque and has not fasted and hasn't prayed all year, he's going to walk in as the most humble and feel they're the worst Muslim in that gathering. That's actually going to be the best Muslim with Allah. The best Muslim with Allah is going to be the one when they walk in the room, they feel, I am the worst in this gathering. If you walk in a gathering of Muslims and you think to yourself, I am better than someone here, that is terrible. That is not right. What is right. Okay? So arrogance is very, very dangerous. And so you treat it, number one, by remembering punishment that Allah has prepared for those who are arrogant. 2, we're all from Adam. And we're all going to die and be turned to dust in the grave. What makes you better as a skin color, or country, or race, or money? None of it will benefit you. When you die and you go into your grave, the only thing that will benefit you is the good deeds that you did. And that's it. Nothing else will help you. Right? Good deeds you did, or sadaqah or charity you spent, or knowledge you left behind which people benefited from. So if Allah accepts and you guys act upon my knowledge and teach others, from the knowledge Allah is giving me and all of you in this moment, I don't possess any knowledge. You don't possess any knowledge. Allah is the real teacher giving us knowledge at every moment. Right? If we act upon our knowledge, then Allah will benefit all of us on the Day of Judgment, and in our graves and the hereafter. So this is very important. May Allah save us from arrogance. But just remember, every time you see a Muslim, you think you're better than them, another treatment you can do is pray for them. Right away. Say, oh Allah, in my diseased heart, I just felt that I was better than them. Please forgive me, increase them, make me humble. So make a prayer. Number 3, whenever you get arrogant upon another person, remind yourself, maybe you did a sin that Allah will hold you accountable for. And remember that that person, you think you're better than them because they don't wear hijab or go to the masjid or whatever else people think in their heads. Just remember, maybe they did something that earned Allah's pleasure, and maybe you did something that earned Allah's displeasure in you. The third disease that we're going to cover today is Riya, R-I-Y-A. R-I-Y-A. And Riya can be translated as showing off. Showing off. If you pray, or you fast, or you do dhikr, or you teach knowledge, or you learn knowledge, or you read the Quran, or you give charity, or you go to Hajj, or you do any of these good deeds, if in your heart you did it to please someone else, or you did it for a different motive so someone could say or think you are a better Muslim, then you have showed off in your action. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment will tell the angel to take away all deeds that were not done for His sake. Take away every deed that was done while people were showing off for others. Get rid of it, and then it's going to be sifted, and only those deeds you did only for the sake of Allah will remain. And because you did it to show off, you will actually be punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala why you did that for other than the sake of Allah. So let's give some examples. A person walks, you're praying, someone walks in the room, and then you start saying to yourself, I'm going to pray longer because then they'll think I'm a better Muslim. That is showing off. Okay? A person says, MashaAllah, this girl is so good, she prays. She prays every day at Maghrib. And then you're like, and I also pray Isha, and I also pray 5 times a day. That's showing off in your deeds. Okay? And I also fast Ramadan too, alhamdulillah, and I went to Hajj twice. That could be showing off. Though if you're trying to say how much Allah has blessed you, that's fine, but often it is to show off. Okay? If you are fasting and you just want everyone to know you're fasting, so you're showing off, hey, it's Ramadan, by the way, I'm fasting. See what a good Muslim I am? And you're doing it so people can say, MashaAllah, you're a good Muslim, you're showing off. Though fasting, you can always hide and go eat something. So fasting is one that is often protected in your intention. So every time you do a good deed, ask yourself, am I doing this for Allah? Or am I doing this so others say, MashaAllah, what a good Muslim you are. Wow, MashaAllah, you read all of that. If it's your parents and you want to show your parents you're listening to them, that's a good thing that you're showing them you're listening to them, but don't just do it because you want your parents to think you're a good kid so they can let you go out with your friends, or they can give you extra video game time, or they can let you watch TV. You don't do it for that reason at all. Okay? Or, when you're praying in an area your parents see you, so you pray really long. And then you go in your bedroom, you pray super quick. That's showing off, right? That's showing off. Here's one thing you should know. That when you feel in your heart, I'm showing off, how do you treat this disease? You treat it by a couple things. Number one, as soon as you feel in your heart, oh my God, am I doing this to show off? I feel like I'm showing off. If it's a good thing you're doing, continue doing the good deed, but make a dua. Okay? And I'll write the dua on the board if you need, or you can watch this video later and take it. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika an ushrika bika shay'an wa ana a'lamu wastaghfiruka lima la a'lamu bih. This is one dua. Second, recite Surah Al-Ikhlas. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Read Surah Al-Ikhlas. Make dua to Allah. Oh Allah, I feel in my heart that I'm showing off. Please forgive me and make my actions sincere. Okay? Sincere means the opposite of showing off. You're doing it just for the sake of Allah. Here's another thing you can do. If you worship Allah in private, in your bedroom where you are doing dhikr, remembering Allah, making du'as, praying, reading Quran, if you can hide it from people, that is recommended. I'm going to say that again. If you can hide it from people, it is recommended. Because then you have no fear of showing off. You're home alone, no one is there, and you want to read the Quran. Well, you're not reading for anybody else. No one's there for them to see you. Now in the back of your head, I'm like, if you say, oh, I'm going to FaceTime so-and-so and let me read the Quran, then that's showing off. Or you read the Quran right now, you're like, when my parents come home, I'm going to tell them I read for a whole hour. Then that's showing off even if you're alone. Because you're not doing it for the sake of Allah. It's for the sake of Allah when you do it privately, when you do it alone, and you don't want to tell anybody anything about it, and you say, Ya Allah, I did this where only you and I know that I did this. That's it. Sometimes shaitan says to people, oh, don't wear hijab, you're just going to wear it so you're showing off to people saying, you wear hijab. You're not sincere. That's shaitan. Because what he wants you to do is, he doesn't want you to do that good thing. But what you should do is you should say, no, I'm going to wear hijab, inshallah, I'm going to make dua, Allah, make it sincerely for your sake, and then you do it. And inshallah, as time goes on, you'll learn more. When you first learn knowledge, shaitan says, oh, don't learn knowledge, you're just doing it so people can say you're a sheikh, or ooh, you know so much. But then as you learn more, those feelings and those thoughts will go away more. Okay? Because shaitan is going to try to scare you. Oh, don't read Quran right now, you're just doing it to show off, you're going to get punished. No. Read the Quran. Ignore the thoughts that are telling you, don't do that good deed because you're just doing it to show off. Ignore that. But don't ignore when you're like, oh, okay, here they come. Let me go. Oh, they're all going to walk in the house. Allahu Akbar. Okay, that's ridiculous. But you're already praying Maghrib and 10 people walk in your house. Oh my God, I think I'm just praying because I'm showing off. No, don't worry about it. It's okay. Always keep making dua. Ya Allah, I hope I'm doing this for your sake. Even me today, like I wonder when I teach this class, I always question myself, am I really doing this for the sake of Allah or not? And I make dua, Ya Allah, make this class only for your sake. Not for YouTube likes, not for subscriptions, not for any of that. Okay? But for the sake and the pleasure of Allah only. Not because we get paid for it, not because you feel good about it, not because of any other thing, but you want Allah and His Messenger to be pleased with you in the next world. Is that clear? That's the only reason we should do anything good in life. Another question you may wonder is, well, is it okay to do something in front of people? Absolutely. You have to pray Asr, you have 5 minutes left, and 10 people are in the only room you can pray. Don't worry about it. Put your prayer rug down and pray in front of 10 people because you have to pray Asr on time. Don't ever disobey Allah because you're afraid, but there's 10 people here, they're all going to look at me pray Asr and think that I'm... Okay? If you have another choice, go to the other room. But if you have no choice, say you're traveling in a car, you stop at a park or a rest area, you have to pray. You're like, well, I don't want to pray, everyone's going to think I'm showing off. I'll just miss my Asr. That's a bigger problem. That's clear, right? So always obey Allah in His outward commands, but inward, always keep questioning yourself and bring yourself to that. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ praised the man who, when he gives from his right hand, his left hand doesn't even know. So secret as much as possible. Okay? If you can make dua alone and cry remembering Allah, this becomes a great means of great reward for you. Closing du'as after classes and things like that have a great reward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and inshallah maybe Allah will accept our du'a. So alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad. Oh Allah, we ask you to cleanse our heart and purify our hearts from showing off, from miserliness and from arrogance. Allah, we ask you to give us good qualities that are beloved to you and not evil qualities that keep us far from you and becomes a means or a reason for us to be punished. Ameen. Oh Allah, bless our parents and guide them upon the straight path, and our teachers and our loved ones. Allah, bless our community and bless the entire ummah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah, help us to remember you in our days and nights and our stillness and movements. Allah, make us good Muslims. We thank you for this opportunity of being able to teach and learn and benefit from our religion. Allah, increase us in that which is good for our hereafter and keep us away from all that harms our hereafter. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad. Rabbi zidna ilma. Allah, increase all of us in knowledge. Ameen.